Hi everyone, we are excited to have you here in today's fun-filled learning session at YOLO. Here is a quick look at how you can submit your work after the class. As a first step, go to live.yolo.com. You can use any browser to access this site. On this page, you will see a list of all our classes. Scroll down and you can see the Submit Your Work button. And then you will see a list of the classes that you've last attended, which could, for example, show the dance or craft or science experiment classes you've attended recently. Next, it will show you the list of children whose names are registered in this mobile number. Choose your name from this list to submit your work. For instance, if you are Satvik Kumar, choose that name. And then choose the class for which you would like to make your submission. For example, if you've attended the New Year's Masquerade Party session and you'd like to make the submission for this class, click on the Submit Your Work button below that. And then upload the photo you've taken. Choose the image from your phone and click Submit. You can scroll down and view all your past submissions and see how many of your friends or peers have liked your work. You can also see others' work and like their work to inspire your friends. If you want to showcase your work on social media, that too is very simple. Click on Share, copy the link, and post it on Instagram or Facebook or any other platform of your choice. Just a tiny reminder, your submission looks a lot better if you could click a photo in the landscape mode rather than the portrait mode. Do not forget to tag us at YOLO_app. I'm eagerly looking forward to all your submissions right after this class.
Hey there, kids. How are you doing? Welcome to today's class. Today is the last class of our Accidental Inventions course, and I am so excited to have you here with me today. Now, in the previous classes, we went ahead and spoke about a lot of accidental inventions that have happened over time, and today's class is going to be another fun-filled class wherein we're going to go ahead and talk about two accidental inventions that have happened in relation to food items. So, we're going to be going ahead and talking about popsicles as well as potato chips and how they were invented. We're also going to go ahead and do a beautiful illustration on the side, which is going to be kind of sort of like an add-on to go ahead and do, a little bit of practice of our skill in terms of art with the storytelling that we have today. Now, before we get started with the work that we have to go ahead and do, let's talk a little bit about your certificate program as well as a little bit about your submissions. Now, coming to your certificate program, like you all know, you're getting certificates for the work that you're going ahead and doing. All you have to go ahead and keep in mind is firstly to make sure that you're attending all of your classes. So, if it's a 4-part course, then attend all of the 4 classes. If it's an 8-part course, then attend all of the 8 classes. How many of classes are there? Make sure you're attending those many number of classes. The second thing that you have to go ahead and make sure of is going ahead and doing all of your submissions. Make sure you're going ahead and doing all of your submissions on time. Make sure you're not going ahead and missing out on it. Now, since we've gone ahead and spoken about this, let's talk a little bit about, what we're going to do today. So today we're going to be going ahead and doing an illustration of a popsicle as well as going ahead and doing an illustration of potato chips. And in the meantime, I'm also going to go ahead and tell you the 2 stories about the accidental inventions that took place. So for that, let's go ahead and firstly start off with a list of materials that we need for today's class. So the first thing that you need for today's class is going to be a sheet of a paper. You can go ahead and take any sheet of paper you want with you. You can see here I have basically like a sketchbook. You can go ahead and take a sketchbook. You can take a drawing book. You can take any A4 size sheet of paper or any loose drawing sheet of paper that you have with you at home. The next thing that you need for today's class is going to be a pencil. So the pencil is basically for you to go ahead and draw out your artwork. The next thing that you need for today's class is going to be a marker. I always have a marker on hand because I want to go ahead and do the outline of our work. So hence I have a marker with me. Make sure you have one with you as well. The next thing that I have with me is a compass. Now, this is optional. If you're going ahead and drawing any circles, then you can have it. So it's okay if you don't have it or you have it. It will not make much of a difference. The next thing that I have here with me is a crayon. So here I'm going to go ahead and use crayons for going ahead and doing a little bit of coloring for my illustration. So have any good set of crayons. You can have wax crayons, you can have soft pastels, oil pastels, whatever you have with you for going ahead and doing your coloring. If you also want to go ahead and use your sketch pens directly, then you can go ahead and take that as well. The next thing that I have for today's class is going to be a scale. You can go ahead and have a scale with you on hand. If anywhere you want to go ahead and draw any straight lines and you're having a hard time doing so, freehand. So let's go ahead and firstly start off by drawing the popsicle that we're going to go ahead and talk about, and then I'll go ahead and give you the story of the popsicle. So to get started, I'm going to go ahead and take my pencil and I'm going to go ahead and draw a big U of sorts, so sort of like an ulta U, as you can see, and I'm going ahead and drawing a line at the bottom. This is going to be the shape of my popsicle. Perfect. Excellent job, everybody. All right, really well done. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fill in with a design. So the design that I wanted to do was I just wanted to go ahead and draw a bunch of waves inside. You can obviously go ahead and do any design that you like. You don't necessarily have to do the design that I'm going ahead and doing. Just feel free of whatever design you want to go ahead and do. And then I went ahead and did the stick of the popsicle right at the bottom. Once I finished this, I went ahead and took my sketch pen and I started drawing at the outline of this whole thing. So whatever designs you go ahead and pick out, whatever you go ahead and do, go ahead and start doing the outline of that. Now remember, I'm going to be going ahead and giving you the story. So in that time, you can obviously go ahead, outline and color. You don't have to finish it right now with me. Now, in terms of the coloring, I just wanted to go ahead and create sort of like a rainbow effect. So I went ahead and did yellow, orange, red, blue, and then a little bit of purple. You can go ahead and color in your popsicle based on how you have gone ahead and done it. So if you've done a simple popsicle, you can go ahead and do one color. If you've gone ahead and done like a multiple layered, then you can do whatever colors you like for that. If you feel like you've gone ahead and done sort of like toppings and you want to do it a specific kind of color for that, you can go ahead and do that. So play around with whatever you like in terms of the colors. You don't have to exactly do what I'm going ahead and doing. Just have fun with it. Excellent work, everybody. So here you can see I've gone ahead and finished up with my yellow, and now I'm going ahead and finishing up with my orange. I can see you're all getting very creative with the drawing of your popsicle and your outline as well as your little bit of coloring. So all of you have gone ahead and started off with your coloring. So good job. I really love it when you all are creative. I really love it when you're going ahead and doing something different from what we normally go ahead and do. So good work, everybody. Really well done. Excellent job. Perfect. Make sure you go ahead and do your drawing as well as your coloring as neatly as you can. Perfect. Good job, everybody. Really well done. Excellent work. So you can see I've gone ahead and finished up my red. Now I'm going ahead and taking my blue and I'm filling the next layer up. Perfect. Really well done. And lastly, I'm going to go ahead and take my purple and finish up that final small part that I have right there. Then I'm going to go ahead and finish up my popsicle stick. So here I'm going ahead and taking brown and I'm going ahead and filling that up. Now, like I mentioned, while I'm giving you the whole story behind the popsicle and the invention of the popsicle, you can go ahead and continue with your outlining, coloring, as well as your drawing it as creative as possible. And let me now go ahead and tell you the story behind the accidental invention of the popsicle. So the popsicle was created by a person called Epperson. He was the one who went ahead and invented the popsicle, and it was an accidental invention that happened one night. Now, in the 1900s, which was when he created or invented the popsicle, it was 1905 when something like a fizzy drink or like a soda with a little bit of flavoring was very, very famous. So, what people used to do was they used to take a little bit of water, they used to take a little bit of soda, add in a little bit of fruit flavoring, mix it up, and drink it. So, how we have something like Tang or Rasna is something that they had back in the day, and it was very, very popular. So one evening, what he did was he went ahead and sort of mixed it up and had it on this side, but he forgot to drink it and he had just left it outside. Now, the place he was staying, which was basically San Francisco, got very, very cold at nights, and it used to snow outside. So what happened was when he woke up the next morning, the whole thing was actually frozen, and he had also left the spoon inside. So what happened was the spoon was also kind of stuck in it in the glass. And what he realized was, as it sort of melted, the whole thing popped out of the glass, and he had sort of like a whole frozen icicle, which had sort of like the drink flavoring in it as well as a spoon. And he decided to, see what it tastes like, like what happened exactly to it. So he sort of licked it and he realized that this was really, really tasty. It tasted like an amazing, like, fruity taste. It tasted exactly like how the drink tasted, but it was in a frozen form, and it was really, really tasty to go ahead and have. So he realized he had sort of kind of invented something, but he didn't really know what it was. He didn't really name it anything. He didn't really, figure it out, but he obviously played around with it a little bit. So for over a couple of years, he kept doing it at home. He kept, freezing, a lot of different flavors of fruit drinks in his freezer or just outside at night with a spoon or a little bit of a wooden stick. And he kept giving it to his children, and he kept going ahead and having it. Now, what happened eventually was 17 years later, actually, not eventually, but 17 years later, he decided that, nobody's actually come up with this idea. I thought it would be something that people would eventually come up with, people would eventually, start selling. But he realized nobody was actually going ahead and selling it. So why not go ahead and invent it or bring it out to the world? So what he did was he went to an amusement park and he started selling these icicles. No, because it was, made of ice. He started calling it Epicicles because his name was Epicin, and he had gone ahead and invented it. So he started calling it that, but his children didn't really like the name. So they really liked the name Popsicle. So that's why the name Popsicle also came about. And it became really, really famous. People started having it. And he used to kind of serve it with wooden sticks. And he started using different flavors. So like, how we have the orange popsicles, or we have mango popsicles, or we have strawberry popsicles, like that he went ahead and started using different flavorings and created different flavors of popsicles. And eventually it became so famous, people really loved it, that he went ahead and filed for a patent of it and started getting the ownership of this kind of invention. Eventually he approached manufacturing companies and told them that he wants to go ahead and start mass production of the popsicle, and that's how we have the concept of the popsicle today. So it was just an accidental invention of just leaving his drink out at night with a spoon, and it freezing and becoming an invention. And look at how much money he made out of it, and look at how creative he could get out of it. And the fact that he sat on that idea for 17 years, he didn't really do anything about it, though he had created something, he had invented something, he knew his children, he loved it, but he didn't really do anything about it. So I'm glad he came up with it, eventually, and he started selling it to people, because otherwise we would have never had the popsicle. It would have just been something that he invented and he would have died out with, and nobody would have come ahead and created. So now let's go ahead and draw the next one, which is going to be the lot of potato chips. So for going ahead and drawing the potato chips, what I want you to do is I want you to take your pencil and then go ahead by drawing a sort of like a rectangle like so. So here you can see I've gone sort of like a rectangle, as well as I'm going ahead and drawing sort of like a crimp on top as well as a crimp on the bottom. Now for the top crimp, what I'm doing is I'm going ahead and doing sort of like a wavy top so that it looks like the bag of chips is open. And then I'm going ahead and drawing sort of like these chips that are coming out of it. Now obviously you can change it up the way you like. And again, like I always tell you, in our GK classes, I'm going to be going ahead and giving you time to draw this while I go ahead and tell you the story. So you can just get the gist or the idea of what I'm going ahead and doing. And then you can go ahead and do it by yourself later. So here you can see I'm outlining it, and then I'm going ahead and drawing a few lines for the crimp, making it look like it is a sealed bag. So for the top and the bottom, I'm going ahead and doing this. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the outline of the chips. And then I'm going to draw a few dots in it in order to make it look like it's sort of like flavored, or they're like specks of salt or something on top to make it look like that. And then on the bag, you can go ahead and write any logo of your choice. I just felt like writing chips on top, so I went ahead and did sort of like a circle-ish oval right there. And then I went ahead and wrote chips right on top. Now for the colors, I wanted to go ahead and use orange because I absolutely love orange lace. So pick the color of your choice of whatever chips you like and go ahead and coloring it with that. I felt like orange is the color I wanted to use because I love orange lace. So, pick whatever color you like. If you like plain chips or plain, lace, then you can do yellow. If you like any other flavor, let's say you like Cheetos, then you can do orange as well. You can do whatever color you like. It's up to you. So as you can see, I'm going ahead and starting to color it in. Perfect. Now, when you do this, take your time when you're going ahead and doing this. I'll be telling you the story. So you can go ahead and do this as slowly and nicely as you can. Now, for the chips as well, you can go ahead and do orange if you like, or whatever color you like. I felt like going ahead and doing yellow color chips because, it'll look a little bit different from the packet as well. So it'll look a little nicer. But again, the coloring as well as the drawing. But if it is completely up to you, go ahead and make it as creative as you can. Perfect. Good job. All right. So as you can see, I've gone ahead and finished up with this packet of chips. You can go ahead and even draw a bowl of chips or do it however you like. And while you go ahead and do the drawing as well as the coloring, I'm now going to go ahead and talk to you about the accidental invention of potato chips. So the potato chip was invented by a person called George Crumb in 1853. So George Crumb was basically an African American individual who basically ran a restaurant. So in his restaurant, he used to sell French fries. So like you all know, French fries are sort of those long, thick, fries that you have that you fry. So it's also made out of potato. But what basically kept happening was he had a man who came into his restaurant and he kept sending back the French fries. He kept saying that, it's too thick, it's too thin, it's too this, and it's too that. And he had so many issues. So there were so many plates of French fries that George Crumb went ahead and made that by the end of it, he was really, really annoyed. And he kept, getting his order, the order that he was making. The man kept sending it back and kept telling him, no, this is like not nice. This is very, very thick. This is not crunchy. I do not like this. So since George Crumb was, also very irritated and also frustrated by everything that was happening, he decided to go ahead and make a really, really thin, potato slice and then go ahead and fry those out and give it as a way of like revenge or as a way of, being like, out of protest that, I do not like what you're asking me to do. And I like, I'm going to make it so thin that you can't enjoy it and you can't eat it from a fork. So that's what he decided to go ahead and do. And he went ahead and, sliced them out really, really thin as potato chips. And he fried them out and then he sent them to the person who kept returning the chips. Now, when he got those chips, though George Crumb thought that he would be really upset and he would get, really angry and ask him like what he went ahead and created, the customer, for some reason, absolutely loved what George Crumb had went ahead and created. He was like, wow, this is amazing. I absolutely love this. I've never eaten anything like this before and I absolutely loved it. And that's where the invention of the potato chip came from. So, it was something out of frustration. It was something out of anger that, George Crumb went ahead and invented. Now, eventually, with one customer loving it, he realized that the other customers as well would love it. So he started serving it with other food dishes and he started having it on his menu as a part of, general day-to-day lives. Now, though potato chips was created because of the concept of cutting it thin and then going ahead and frying it, there was no, way of preserving it as such. People used to just go ahead and make it fresh and sell it. So eventually what started happening was people in Cleveland, Ohio, and people like George Crumb started going ahead and creating it in many, many more restaurants. So if you went to a restaurant, they would go ahead and create a fresh bag of chips and then, go ahead and give it to you. But you couldn't really buy it in store or you couldn't really go ahead and buy it anywhere. The person who got really, really interested in the concept of chips was Herman Lay. So he's the founder of Lay's and he was really, really, interested in the concept of this. And he decided that, you should go ahead and have more flavors, you should have more options and things like that. And he went ahead and found a manufacturer who could go ahead and mass produce paper, potato chips. And eventually, what happened was, with enough research that was gone ahead and done behind it, they figured out a way in which potato chips could be sealed in a bag and it could hold its crunchiness. Now, with the invention of that, he went ahead and invented the concept of Lays, wherein they created chips in a bag where they had potato chips with different flavors. Now, potato chips like chips or Cheetos or like so many variants that we have today just commonly exist. We go to any store, you will find a bag of chips out there, and you will be able to snack on it really easily. But this was basically the background of it. It started off as just being something with a frustrating customer in a restaurant, to moving on to being more flavored in different flavors, to someone trying to invent just a bag to preserve these chips and preserve that crunchiness so that people could enjoy it at any point of time. Just walk into a store and buy it, and look what it has become today. Today, it's such a common thing. Who would have thought that, such an invention would be an accidental invention that, plays such a huge part in today's day and age. Now, like I mentioned, this is the last class of our accidental invention course, and we do not have any more stories when it comes to accidental inventions. But I am so glad that you've gone ahead and stuck on to all of these classes and you've enjoyed all the stories that I've gone ahead and told you. Now, there are many more accidental inventions that have happened over time. So I would love for you to go ahead and look it up and, figure out what are the more accidental inventions that have happened over time. What are the more inventions that, could be really interesting to study on. And when it comes to today's class, like you all know, click a picture of what you've gone ahead and done and upload it. I would love to see your drawings of the popsicle as well as the potato chips. Now, coming to the end of this class, I want to talk about two things. Firstly, the certificate program. Like you all know, you're getting certificates for the work that you're going ahead and you're doing. You just have to make sure of two things. Firstly, make sure you're going ahead and attending all of your classes. Secondly, make sure you're going ahead and doing all of your submissions on time. Now, apart from this, I always keep talking to you about your submissions, whether you've done good, bad, ugly, amazing. Make sure you're submitting your work so that I, as a teacher, can see how well you've gone ahead and done. Now, in the next week, we're going to have another GK course with another fun topic and another fun course. So make sure to go ahead and attend that. And I would love to see you then. Bye-bye till then, and have a nice day or a week ahead. Till then, bye, and have a look at the submission video. Bye.
Hi everyone, we are excited to have you here in today's fun-filled learning session at YOLO. Here is a quick look at how you can submit your work after the class. As a first step, go to live.yolo.com. You can use any browser to access this site. On this page, you will see a list of all our classes. Scroll down and you can see the Submit Your Work button. And then you will see a list of the classes that you've last attended, which could, for example, show the dance or craft or science experiment classes you've attended recently. Next, it will show you the list of children whose names are registered in this mobile number. Choose your name from this list to submit your work. For instance, if you are Satvik Kumar, choose that name. And then choose the class for which you would like to make your submission. For example, if you've attended the New Year's Masquerade Party session and you'd like to make the submission for this class, click on the Submit Your Work button below that. And then upload the photo you've taken. Choose the image from your phone and click Submit. You can scroll down and view all your past submissions and see how many of your friends or peers have liked your work. You can also see others' work and like their work to inspire your friends. If you want to showcase your work on social media, that too is very simple. Click on Share, copy the link, and post it on Instagram or Facebook or any other platform of your choice. Just a tiny reminder, your submission looks a lot better if you could click a photo in the landscape mode rather than the portrait mode. Do not forget to tag us at YOLO_app. I'm eagerly looking forward to all your submissions